Thank you, Rinesh bhai.
So first things first, I would have a very straight question. Um, what made you choose, or rather, what made you incline towards leadership?
I have no idea what made me inclined towards leadership. I don't think I ever wanted to be a leader. I was an accidental founder. I was a lawyer. Then at some point when AI came out, I was like, maybe law may not be the industry to be in. So I moved to legal tech, then felt incredibly lonely as a founder. So said, okay, I need to find other founders in Bombay. And with all of my creativity, unlike you folks, I came up with the name Bombay Founders Club. And we started getting founders in Bombay to meet. Uh, just in case you guys are wondering what the charter is, now that we've actually grown a little bit and we're expanding, the creative minds have come and said Bombay Founders Club was too basic. So we're rebranding to the charter. The official rebrand is in the 11th. So you guys are actually some of the first people outside of our company to actually see the logo of the charter. But yeah, that's about it.
So one question from the students' end. Um, Today's world, there's a lot of jobs that have been created in the design field, right? But somehow I always want our students to be encouraged upon starting their own business. What are your views on particularly starting their own label, their own furniture brand, their own interior space brand? A lot of things that come in the design space. What are your views on them starting a business altogether after they graduate?
See, entrepreneurship is not for everybody, but if you are the person who thinks about doing a job and is like, I don't think I can, I don't want to be working under somebody 6 days a week. I don't want to have to ask somebody when I want to take my leaves. I don't want to ask somebody for permission when I have an idea and I want to execute it. Then you are the kind of person who's probably built for entrepreneurship, and give it a try young, because you have a lot less to lose when you're young. A lot of people think that, oh, we'll wait around and try it out later on in life, but that it only gets harder. So yeah, make your mistakes early and have fun in the process.
A lot of our students, actually all of our students, come from a very creative mindset, because design is an industry which needs a lot of creative ability. What sometimes they lack is the able to sell their products, is the able to present their collection in a way where, for example, we have the auctioneers over here. There will be times when the founders will feel that the students could have presented their garments in a very better space, right? So that is something that I would like you to convey. What are the tricks, right? I know for a fact nobody's perfect, but there are some basics to it, of course. So what are those basics that all our students to keep in mind when they're presenting their collection? Because 29th the official jury also starts, so this learning can be taken through the jury process.
I think just know what you're trying to say. Don't try and sound very clever. Just try and be clear. I think it makes life a lot easier. Oftentimes, you try and sound very clever, and in the process, nobody understands a word of what we're trying to say. But if we say things simply, uh, it actually works. Because when it comes to sales, words sell more than your graphics or your videos or anything else. So just keep your words very, very clear. And when you do land up working with the founders to actually integrate their brands into your collections, I think you will be able to get a great idea of the clarity that these guys bring to the table.
What according to you is the future of design?
I am the worst person to ask this question to. I am a recovering lawyer. I know Times New Roman, font 12, and black and white. And I know that in the future. So that's all I can tell you.
But yeah, so honestly, the perspective that you will have to design is going to be crazy, because it's going to be raw and something not from your industry. What do you perceive of design as a whole? Of course, the government is also promoting design education. There's a lot of movement happening in our industry. There is a lot of awareness to people, to parents, about design education. We have campuses in Bharampur in Odisha, Teshpur in Assam, Tinsukia in Assam, where the first challenge to us is convincing them about what design education is, and then probably admitting the student to us. So what do you perceive of design education as a whole?
So I give a very cliched example for this. So all of you guys have heard of Apple, right? Probably seen an iPhone, used a MacBook at some point in your life, or have a friend who uses one. Apple never identified as a tech company, right? Apple always identified itself as a design company first. And it's probably the only reason why today, if Apple makes a TV, you will buy it. If Apple makes a car, you will still buy it. If Apple makes anything, you will buy it because it's a design first company, right? A lot of other tech companies, think of the Sonys of the world, the Dells of the world, have not been able to produce as many different SKUs of products from phones to like laptops the way Apple has been able to do that. And that is because they have design at their core. So ultimately, the companies that do land up winning, especially in the consumer space, have design very fundamentally baked in, right? Even if you're producing content, even if you're, producing a website, anything from your packaging, every element of it has design very, very deeply baked in.
So, now moving on towards the auction bit, how did this idea click to you? Because I tell you honestly, it's a lot of logistical work for us before the show, and we're just 1 month away from the main show, right? This year, first time we're doing a 4-day event, right? Faculties are already slapping me hard for that. But the only thing is that we wanted, the only institute to provide everything on campus, right? Slowly and steadily, we want to move towards experiential learning. I would ask students to go on Churchgate Station and just be there for the entire day. Half of their learning will happen there, right? Because they see people, different culture, झगड़ा भी देखेंगे तो सीखेंगे. So all of these factors also, contribute to their leadership journey, and that's something that slowly and steadily we are also transforming into. Other thing was that, as I mentioned, we reached out to them for a good masterclass, a panel discussion for our students. So Devarsh bhai, how did this idea click to you? It's something that I'll tell you honestly, today when I look back at our first conversation, it's a great opportunity. I never imagined this, to be honest, and I am so thankful to you to give us this idea, because technically, of course, with branding it in a very good manner, we are actually the first institute in association with the charter to host this auction for our students. Students are not experienced about an auction at all. 1 o'clock in the night, they're messaging faculties, ma'am, kal kya hone wala hai, right? Of course, we have Nisha who's going to be explaining that, but how did this idea click to you?
So, Rinesh bhai, to be very frank, we've had a lot of educational institutions reach out to us, but when we spoke to most of them, they felt like dinosaurs. Pardon my French. But when we had a conversation, you actually seemed very open to ideas and dynamics. So first of all, thank you for that. Uh, I think it was actually the idea stemmed from how the way you described the event, right? It almost sounded like the event led up to the fashion show at the Bombay Art Society, with you guys hiring a bunch of models to feature some lovely, all of your top students' collections. And it almost seemed like sacrilege to not have brands be associated with that in some way. And in many ways, students and founders share a common psyche, right? We are used to late nights. We understand last minute stress. We understand the jugadu mindset that it takes. And I think together with the creativity that a founder brings to the table and the vision and passion that they have for their brand and the ideas that a student has, say, for example, it could be as basic as a model walking down holding the founder's products, but I doubt any of the founders and students will collaborate to make it that basic, right? So I'm very excited to see what really comes out of it.
And students do not know the brands that they're going to be dealing with, the founders that they're going to be dealing with. It's actually a surprise for them. It's also a surprise for all the faculties, apart from Disha ma'am, because she's involved into this. Uh, it's a surprise for ma'am, surprise for sir. So it's going to be very fresh, right? And that's something that I always wanted. I communicated to you that students at the end of the day have to take back something, and students who are not serious for this auction, it's okay. There's nothing going to go wrong. You'll lose your marks. That's okay. Nothing more than that. Is that this marks will also be calculated for your jury round. Humko kuch nahi hai. We are okay with that. On that note, thank you, Devarsh bhai,